Hola chicos, en este video nosotros vamos a hablar de expressing likes and dislikes en español. Nuestra unidad es la identidad, expressing our identities. In order to do that we need to know how to say what we like and what we don't like to do. So, si pensamos en estas expresiones en español, many of you guys are going to think about a certain verb that is used to describe what you like, and maybe you're thinking of the verb gustar, and that is the verb that we use for to like. Now, este verbo aquí es un poco diferente que los otros verbos. I don't want to dwell on verb tenses and verb formations, but it's useful to know that this verb actually does not mean to like. It actually means to please. So in Spanish, when you say you like something, you're actually saying it pleases me. So for example, when you say in English, I like baseball, in Spanish, you're saying baseball pleases me. And what that does is if we start to talk about verbs, this verb is in the first person. You're saying I, right? This verb in Spanish here is actually in the third person. You're talking about baseball. So when you're confused about the verb gustar, just be aware that it's not like other verbs. Eso no es muy importante para nosotros. I'm not overly concerned about that because we're going to learn these in Spanish the way they are. So, how do you go about expressing what you like and what you don't like? Hay muchas maneras de hacerlo. There's really a lot of ways to do it. So vamos a empezar, vamos a practicar un poquito. Think about some of the things that you like to do. Start to think about verbs, actions. What are some things, some sports or some activities or some whatever, anything that you like to do. So we might come up with a list of things that we like to do. We might come up with the verb mirar, which is a common verb. And what do you generally look at? Mirar la tele, ¿no? Tenemos otro verbo muy común, el verbo jugar, ¿no? Jugar el fútbol, por ejemplo. Otros verbos, a muchas personas les gusta leer, ¿no? So leer es otro verbo común. So here's a list of 3 verbs, 3 actions. And when you describe whether you like or dislike these things, it's very simple in the present tense. When you talk about actions, I'm sorry, not in the present tense, using the yo form is what I meant to say. When you want to talk about these things, your way to express it, when you're just talking about yourself, is just simply me gusta. Now we talked about how gustar means to please, but when you say me gusta mirar la tele, that means I like to watch TV. Obviamente, obviously, when you want to say that you don't like to do something, you just put the no in front of it. No me gusta, ¿verdad? Whatever it is that it is you don't like. So I don't like to read. No me gusta leer. Okay, super fácil, no? We're just really concerned right now with expressing ourselves, talking about our own identity. You're going to hear the question pretty often that starts with te gusta, and then whatever the verb is. Well, that's just the question asking if you like to do something. ¿Te gusta jugar el fútbol? Sí, me gusta jugar el fútbol. ¿Te gusta leer? No, no me gusta leer. ¿Verdad? So that's an expression that you'll be using in class when you ask other people sort of what they like and what they don't like. Okay? So estas son las dos partes importantes. So for our purposes right now, me gusta means I like. Te gusta means, with a question mark around it, do you like? So here we're talking about actions. Okay? These are all things that you do. The game changes a little bit when we start to talk about things, when we start to talk about objects and things and people and all that good stuff. So again, with the verb gustar, when you start to talk about things, you're also going to use this expression me gusta. Me gusta means I like. However, when it becomes more than one thing, now you have to use your plural form. And this is where it's useful to know that these expressions actually mean, me gusta actually means something pleases me. Gustan, this is your plural form, this an, you might remember it from conjugating verbs. This means things please me. Rather than one thing here, this is 2+ things, right? Plural. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. So think about some things that you like. Not actions, but just something that you really like. Like for example, I really like my house, right? So I could say, me gusta mi casa. I also really like the beach. Me gusta la playa. ¿Verdad? I like the beach. These are singular items, okay? Casa, playa. So I'm saying I like these things. Now let's go down to the second one. Now let's talk about plural, okay? What are a couple things that you like? For example, a lot of people might talk about more than one object. So the books, right? You're talking about reading. I really like these books. Me gustan los libros, ¿verdad? ¿Qué quiere decir? I like the books. Now look at this sentence, a little different. We're talking about something plural, so now you have your an. So when you pluralize things, it's this verb that changes. All right, gusta to gustan. It's a horrible arrow. I'm sorry, I'm just going to erase it. You get my point. And maybe we want to pluralize something else. So we want to say, me gustan, let's keep it sort of entertainment driven, las películas. And let's call them something, de horror. For that, I like horror movies. We're getting to the Halloween season. So me gustan las películas de horror. In both of these situations, we have things that are plural. Okay, so that's really how you express likes and dislikes in Spanish. Now, there are a few other verbs that are going to work the same way. And these verbs are, just to have a list, we have our verb gustar, right, which is our first sort of funky verb that works a little bit differently. Another verb is the verb encantar. And encantar just is stronger than gustar. It just means like really like. It literally means enchants, right? It's not like for a person. It's not like you really like a person. In fact, these verbs aren't really used commonly for people. They're really used for actions and things. That's another one I want you to know. The other one is interesar. It tells what interests you, right? So this expresses interests. That's hard to say. And then finally, the last one that I want you to know is the verb molestar, which when you look at it first, you're kind of scared to use it. You think molest. It doesn't mean that. It means bother. Okay, and these are going to work exactly the same way. So when you talk about, we talked about me gusta, we could say me encanta esquiar. It means I love to ski. Here we have a verb, singular form. We might say no me interesan los libros. I'm not interested in the books, or the books don't interest me. Look at this sentence here. You have a plural, so this one is plural, just like with our examples with gustar. And then, for example, we could put here me molesta, let's see, el perro, I don't know. And here you're saying that the dog bothers me, right? Now the other thing to notice about these sentences, I mean, the order is a little different in some cases here. So the verb's going to come first, right? And then whatever it is that you are interested in, or that you like, or that you don't like. Okay, muy bien. So I have all these notes available in your screencast notebook for next time. We'll check them. We'll practice with them as well. Pretty simple when you get down to it. I'm going to stop because this video is getting up to 8 minutes long, and I don't want it to be that long. Muchas gracias por su atención. Nos vemos en la próxima clase. Chao.